homogeneous, of the corresponding homogeneous problem, then if y, capital Y, is a solution of star, then any solution of star can be realized as C1, Y1 plus C2, Y2 plus Y for some constants C1 and C2. In other words, E given any solution Y of star, there exists C1 and C2 such that Y is C1, Y1 plus C2, Y2, 2 plus Y. I'm just saying the same thing. Any solution is going to be realizable as that one solution you had plus a linear combination. Okay, so think about this for 1 minute and then say it's obvious. Okay. Think about this for 1 minute and then just nod your head and then we'll do some things. Okay? Okay? Everyone nodding their heads? It's obvious, right? Okay. No, let's explain. So, tell me to please explain. So, why is it obvious? So, let Y be a solution of star. How do I know that? So what are we saying? We're saying that if you have any solution, somebody gives you one solution, capital Y, right? And what we're saying is that given any other solution, then it's going to be capital Y plus some linear combination of the solutions to the homogeneous problem. Right? So why is that true? Well, suppose you have another solution. Well, how do I know that this is Y plus capital Y plus a linear combination of Y1 and Y2? Somebody explain it to me? It's obvious, but maybe not easy to explain. Georgia.
Okay, so, but what you're saying is Y1 and Y2 are fundamental set of solutions for
Yes.
your homogeneous equation.
Yes, I say homogeneous. But
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. but a lot of people say homogeneous.
Okay. So then, basically, if you're adding those together, that's going to give you 0. So you're basically adding 0 to your Y, which will just give you your GFT, kind of. Is that?
So you're sort of saying it backwards. You're saying that, well, if I take my capital Y and I add on any linear combination of these guys,
Right.
then that will still give me a solution of the non-homogeneous problem, right? Because when you throw this guy back into the equation, well, these guys will give you 0, and this will give you G.
Yeah.
Right? So you're saying that if I take anything of this form, it will be a solution of, you're still gonna get solutions of the non-homogeneous problem. But we're actually saying the opposite of that. We're saying, suppose you have a solution of the homogeneous problem, how do you know that it will be attainable by this method?
Okay.
Obtainable by this method. Can anyone give an answer? Hey.
Well, like, when I was reading the book, it was just like
Sure.
you divide the G by your solutions for y1 and y2 in order to get a y that will make it that. That's the way I understood it.
Not exactly, not exactly. So rather, you say, well, it's sort of along the same lines as what we're saying over here. You say, well, suppose we have some other solution, suppose we have some new solution. Well, just consider the difference, right? Consider y minus capital Y. Consider y minus capital Y. What do you know about this thing? This thing is a solution for the homogeneous problem, right? This solves H, right? Solves the homogeneous problem, right? And since it solves the homogeneous problem, what do you know about it? It must be nope.
It must be a part of the fundamental. Like you can create it by making the move a fundamental sense.
Right. It must be a linear combination of y1 and y2.
So it's not part of like saying that small y and capital Y are both solutions of the star equation?
Yes. Yes. Right. So remember, capital Y was somebody gave you a solution to star.
Right.
Okay. And what we're saying is that suppose you have some other solution of star. Then what happens? Well, then the difference is going to be a solution of H, right? And so you know that y, capital Y, is expressible as some linear combination of the fundamental set of solutions. Right? Because everybody in the solution set of H is in this vector space, right? And so that gives you that y is capital Y plus C1Y plus C2Y2. In other words, it's not only true that these guys are solutions, but in fact these are the only solutions. This is the full, these are all the solutions of the non-homogeneous problem. So that's the point. That's even the proof, but the point is that y plus C1Y1 plus C2Y2 as C1 and C2 range over R is the full set of solutions of star. And so to solve star, all you need is to solve H and find one solution of star. So to solve star, it suffices to solve H and find somehow one solution of star. Find somehow one solution of star. So do you see how this is sort of the backwards of what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the converse of what you were saying. Yeah.
Is this like what you're talking about, the line transformation thing? The picture you drew from the vector space?
This is exactly it. This is exactly it. So this is exactly it. We're saying that to solve star, what do we need to do? We need to solve H, right? To find the solution set of H, and we need to find one guy. One guy. Then the solution set of star is going to be that one guy, and any linear combination that was in here added on to that guy. Right? So you take all these guys, all these linear combinations, you add them on, and you get, this is the solution set of H, this is the solution set of star. Makes sense? Pretty simple. This is, you know, what's the idea? There's only one idea here, that's this, right? If you have two solutions and you subtract them, you get a solution of H. Okay? And that's basically the only thing we're saying. Okay. So not deep. Sort of cool, but not deep. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to do something incredibly boring, and we might as well get started. So this is called the method of undetermined coefficients. Okay. But it's you can think of this rather as sort of like uninspired. Okay. So, okay. So here we start off with an observation. Okay, this is not such a bad observation, but it's not that great to teach. So let's start off with a small observation. First, that suppose we have something like this, and we're going to go back to the case of constant coefficients. Okay, so this is not even for the general case. It's going to be for the case of constant coefficients. A double prime plus B y prime plus cy equals, say, some g. And let's suppose that, and let's say, and g of t is actually some sum of smaller functions. So it's some finite sum. So actually, this g is a sum of functions. So here's if we find yi so that a yi double prime plus b yi prime plus c yi equals g sub I, then if we add up those guys, then they'll solve the summed problem, right? And this will solve a y double prime plus b y prime plus c y equals g, the sum of the g. Right? Just by linearity. Right? If each of the yi's, when you plug it in, gives you the gi, then the sum of the yi's is going to give you the sum of gi's. Okay. So the point is that we can solve we can find the solution of star in pieces. Right? We can find the solution of star in pieces. And so here let's just, so what's going to happen we'll look at G in a particular form. If G happens to be, is of the form some polynomial, say, polynomial or polynomial times the exponential function, or polynomial times, say, like some sine or cosine function, then in any of these cases, it will be possible to guess a solution. And that's what we're going to spend next time doing. So don't look forward. Okay. Read it, and then you can spend less time on it. And go on to something better. The thing that happens afterwards is a method of variation of parameters, which is very cool. But next class, very cool.